Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Michael Lawton joins us. He's the Senior Economic Analyst with the Nevada Gaming Control Board. It's a fascinating show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's your spring headquarters with lawn and garden supplies, power equipment, and outdoor living. Big R on Bering Boulevard in Sparks next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
I am back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We are always pleased to have back to the program Michael Lawton. He is a CPM, Senior Economic Analyst for the Nevada Gaming Control Board, the man who brings out all the numbers every month that we all look and see what's going on with the major industry of our state. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. So obviously we've seen tremendous success for the gaming industry with Allegiant Stadium. Now this A's Stadium, the idea at least is bouncing around. It's literally bouncing around. I know you can't speak to individual properties per se, but if we were to get a baseball team in, what do you think that would do in terms of gaming revenues?
Yeah, obviously nothing's official. They just recently pivoted to another location. I look at Allegiant Stadium as kind of an example, and T-Mobile too. They've been successful in driving gaming activity on the Strip. There's no way you can argue that. I think, just going back to Allegiant really quick, fourth quarter of 2022, they had 9 ticketed events. 67% of the attendees to those events came from out of town, so about 309,000 people. 86% of that 309,000 came specifically for that event. So those are big numbers. You look at the A's, $1.5 billion deal, 35,000 seats. We've heard estimates of 400,000 new visitors coming for the A's game. You know, if you do the back of the envelope math, the average gambling budget's around $760 for a Las Vegas visitor. That's from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. That comes out to, you know, close to $300 million in gross gaming revenue that you'd add to the existing, you know, puzzle. And then if you add non-gaming, you're up over $800 million. So the combined gaming and non-gaming impact could be over $1 billion in revenue. So yeah, I think it would be definitely another added, you know, venue, another added driver for visitation, and of course, an added driver to the record gaming revenue that we've been recording for the last 25 months now.
Yeah, 25 months, $1 billion plus months.
Yes.
And the ironic thing is that the comparisons are difficult because we've made so much money as a state in the past years that, how do you keep, I mean, do you see a ceiling on this at all?
Well, I think the last time I was here was a year ago, and we had done 13 consecutive months, and I was concerned about the sustainability. And here we are, now we're at 25.
Wow.
And and it's not a fluke, right? 25's looks like that's the new baseline. Obviously, there's concerns. There's macroeconomic pressures. When's the recession going to happen? Nobody knows. How bad is it going to be? Nobody knows. How long is it going to be? Nobody knows. So those are things we don't know. The things we do know is there's a lot of tailwinds that we think can sustain this level of gaming win for the foreseeable future. Obviously, international visitation is increasing. Convention attendance is increasing. And then, the special events are such a significant driver to these numbers. And there's more on the books for that. I think to your point, the comps are difficult. Look, we just released March. Gaming revenue was down year over year, right? So when you look at that, that might be kind of something we'll see. We'll have months up, we'll have months down. The next 12 months, every month we'll be comparing against is either an all-time record for that month or that month's second all-time high. So, that's the most difficult comparisons the state's ever seen, and we'll see. We'll see how we come out. But I think there's obviously headwinds, that we're concerned about. But I think there's tailwinds also that could, perhaps offset some of the challenges we might see in the next, 2 years.
Well, the irony here is that we have, as you say, so many special events coming up, Formula One, Super Bowl, and others that are going to boost tremendously the attendance because they're not just one day, one weekend events, because so many journalists arrive in advance, so many setup teams, et cetera, that it's really going to boost things beyond. And yet at the same time, as you also point out, international travel is not back where it was. We're slowly but surely ramping up convention. And so we're never recession-proof. Obviously, we have proven that. But at the same time, you look at this and go, if it's a soft landing, it might not be as bad as one might think for, especially Southern Nevada.
Yeah, I would agree. We just recently produced our forecasts, and we have this year being the peak and then some leveling off. Not a significant leveling off. I mean, still, very, very strong gross gaming revenue totals. And in our outlook, it's got to be a little conservative, right? You can't,
of course.
You can't promise the moon. If you don't deliver, then, we could be in trouble. But yeah, I think our forecasts are definitely conservative yet sustainable. And don't forget, and to your point of the more things coming online, you have the MSG Sphere.
Right.
U2 is going to open that up. You have the Fontainebleau going to open up as well. That's always going to be a driver for visitation, and with a new property, people are going to want to see. So yeah, like I said, the outlook is great in terms of events and the continued spectacular events that have been driving these numbers. I look at March of 2023. We just released those numbers, and the calendar for events was so robust. I would think in some jurisdictions that's an entire year, right? But I mean, you had NASCAR weekend return. You had multiple college basketball tournaments for the conference championships. Of course, you had the big one was, the Western Regionals were held at T-Mobile finally for the men's NCAA basketball tournament. You had a UFC fight. You had one of the largest citywide conventions occur during the month of March with ConExpo, 139,000 attendees for that construction trade show. And that's not even getting into entertainment. You had Keith Urban start his residency. You had 2 Jimmy Buffett shows. You had Maroon 5 start their residency. And then, Allegiant had Taylor Swift to finish out the month with 2 shows. So that's just an incredible event calendar, and yet we were down, right? March was down year over year because we were comparing against the second best month of all time. So that's something, when you're looking out at the future, but the comps are hard, we had an incredible calendar, and yet we missed. So, but we didn't miss bad, but we missed.
Right. But I mean, on par, if a business has a record year and slightly less the following year, it's not a bad year.
Right. That's my point. You know, if we come in flat or down 1 or 2%, is that really terrible? When you're looking at, you know, we did $14.8 billion in gaming win in calendar year 22, and if we're off 1 or 2% from that, you know, it's still one of the strongest annual gaming wins the state has ever recorded. So,
okay, so concerts. When you see acts like BTS coming in and selling out 4 nights, a lot of people think, well, it's just kids, but that's not the reality at all, is it?
No, I wouldn't. I think that was March the previous year. I think, and it was the second highest gaming win total of all time. So, I mean, I don't, and
because the parents are coming as well,
right? And look at, you know, Taylor Swift, you know, same thing, you know, 2 shows along with all the other events. You know, the reason the gaming win didn't increase year over year wasn't because there was the wrong kind of clientele in the city. You know, we had a tough comp. Baccarat didn't hold very well, and so we were down. You know, I recently read an article from you know, Tom Reeg, the CEO of Caesars, was speaking, and he believes that these events, and I trust what he says, are bringing in kind of a higher tier clientele, if you will, that's replacing maybe lower tiers or mid tiers, and that's what's adding to the sustainability of these gaming revenue numbers. So I think these events, they're bringing, they're not bringing the wrong kind of clientele into the Las Vegas Strip corridor. They're definitely very successful in driving gaming activity.
Okay, so is this, from your perspective, looking at the numbers, is it better to have a big mix of people coming in? So, you know, like hotel brands, for example, they have high end, middle end, low end, and Las Vegas has always been seen in some ways as a value proposition, a little bit less than it used to be. But don't we want to have everybody?
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, different hotels market to different customers. Different hotels have a different mix of convention and leisure travel, right? I mean, I think they're trying to find the sweet spot of the right balance, you know, because they've all, you know, conventioneers don't gamble as much as leisure travelers. International travelers, you know, spend more than everyone. So I think they're trying to find that sweet spot and trying to get the right mix of customers into the property. You know, we definitely need international to continue to grow. Conventions are ramping up nicely. So, you know, the one weakness the Strip has right now, if there is one, is that midweek business traveler.
Right.
And that needs to come back, because that midweek business traveler, they fill those residency shows, because those residency shows just don't play on weekends. They play, you know, all throughout the week, 2 shows. So you need that as well. So I think everyone's working to get that right mix in the building.
Yeah, it's incredible to follow this. I envy your job at times. You were talking about Baccarat. Baccarat is still the wild card, isn't it?
Yeah, the game is one that keeps me up at night as an analyst, because you just don't know how it's going to perform. There's not hundreds of thousands of people coming in every month to play Baccarat that moves the needle so much. There's maybe on one weekend there might be 100 or so of these players. And if they happen to get on a run and win, you know, that could significantly impact the numbers that we release every month. So, yeah, it's definitely a volatile game. It's been a volatile game for a long time. I think, you know, on the positive side, it's not as a significant contributor as it once was, because everything else has grown so much. Slot wins at $10 billion. Non-Baccarat game and table win has been surging as well. So it's not as a significant component as it once was, but it's still enough where, like I said, March was down because of Baccarat, and it was a result of you know, not holding very well year over year. The play was there, but the customers, they won more than they had the previous year over year. So that's why we were down.
Yeah, James Packer's dad, Kerry Packer, used to be able to change the results for a corporation in a quarter by his Baccarat play. I don't know if you can address this, and tell me if you can't, but Mattress Mac, the furniture sales guy, He makes these huge bets. Is he somebody that can affect a quarter?
Yeah, I think that he has, not necessarily in Nevada. I think he's impacted some of Caesar's results, nationally. I think when he bets, he doesn't necessarily come to Las Vegas to bet. That's my understanding. I mean, he's from Houston. I think he wagers in Louisiana's close by. I think I've heard of him maybe making wagers in Colorado as well. I don't follow him that well, but I think he did impact some of Caesar's results in one quarter. I mean, they were on record saying that. So, but yeah, he's there are players out there that can wager that kind of money and turn the tables on us, right? So,
has Circa completely changed the revenues from downtown?
I really can't speak to that.
Okay,
Obviously.
that's fine. Specific property. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a beautiful property.
Yeah.
I can tell
All right,
you that.
but let's look at it from a different perspective then. Are revenues from the downtown gaming core doing better?
I think every market is doing better. In calendar year 2022, 10 of the state's 18 major submarkets set all-time annual records for gross gaming revenue. So it's not just the Strip. It's so many markets in Southern Nevada are doing well. Downtown Las Vegas is one of them. It's performing extremely well. Back to the Strip, I just want everyone to realize, yes, all the markets are doing well, but the Strip is the significant driver. In the last 12 months, the state is up 5.2%, or about $744 million. The Strip, that same time period, is up $710 million. So 95% of the growth that we've seen in the last 12 months is being generated on the Las Vegas Strip. The rest of the state's up about 0.5%, or $34.1 million. I mean, up against all-time records.
Sure.
But let's be honest, the Strip is what's driving this gaming revenue growth that we've been experiencing. And like we've discussed, why? Well, there's several reasons why, but you cannot overlook the venues and the signature special events and the high-profile sporting events that have occurred on the Strip in the last year.
And the potential is for another stadium beyond the ones we've talked about so far being on the South Strip.
Yeah, and I think that's what everyone's, we're so focused on what's going on, obviously, currently with, the potential A's move. But yeah, the Oakview Group, it's a $3 billion project. It's a casino, hotel, entertainment district with a 20,000 seat venue, kind of specifically designed for an NBA franchise. So I think they've talked about breaking ground in 2023, perhaps opening in 2026. So that's, whatever happens with the A's, there's that as well to look forward to down the road, because that's a very well-known group that's delivered in terms of sporting venues nationwide. So
historically, if you look back to the early 90s and the Mirage and how that changed everything, and now you're looking at where Las Vegas is now, it's a completely different world.
Yeah. I came to Las Vegas in 1989 and ended up working at the Mirage after college, and what a beautiful property, and how it changed, with the mega resort and what that's delivered. And now we hear 30 years later, close to 30 years, and we've changed, right? We're this sports, gaming, entertainment, industrial complex that has just become such a driver for visitation and gaming revenue. And there's, like we said, there's more to come. We're not finished.
Oh, not even close.
There's several projects on the books that are going to continue to develop this connection between sports, entertainment, and gaming, and moving forward. I'm really excited.
Well, the other thing too is that you're seeing Native American gaming coming into Las Vegas, and that's coming with a lot of money. I mean, there's no shortage. And so you're going to see these projects, I think, just blow people's minds with, pushing us into the future.
Yeah, my understanding of the project that the Hard Rock's going to do, at the Mirage is going to be another real game changer. It's kind of, ironic that you had the Mirage be such a game changer, and then, perhaps, the new Hard Rock on the Mirage former property will be, another property that will, change the dynamic of the Las Vegas Strip.
To say the least. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with Michael Lawton after this timeout.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon is a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere, the Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson, we'll save you a drink.
Remember 2010 in Northern Nevada, 13 to 14% unemployment, thousands of homes in foreclosure, Nevada's casinos closing? Families in the Reno-Sparks area were hurting. Many were losing everything. Then Story County launched a game changer for our region, a public-private industrial partnership, streamlined permitting, slashed bureaucracy, attracting Fortune 500 companies that made Nevada their home. Story County generated a river of cash to area communities. Economic studies by the state and others for the Gigafactory consistently show positive economic benefits for our region. $4 billion in local wages, $17 billion in consumer spending and economic activity, over $100 million in taxes to Washoe, Story, Reno, Sparks, and Nevada, just for the Gigafactory alone. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers with Mike Lawton. He is the Senior Economic Analyst for the Nevada Gaming Control Board. How huge is Formula One going to be in terms of revenue gaming-wise?
You know, I am no expert in F1. However, they're estimating a $1.3 billion economic impact. They're looking at 100,000 visitors a day for practice rounds, qualifying rounds, and the race itself. So everybody you talk to down there is very excited. You've seen some of the numbers they're talking about for room rates and packages.
5 million.
Yeah. November of 2023 is going to be a very interesting month to report on for gaming revenue totals. So we'll see. Very exciting for that event.
Oh, to say the least. We'll be right back.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
It's the Lucky Lexus Cash and Free Play giveaways at Tamarack. Weekly Cash and Free Play winners plus a $20,000 cash winner guarantee. And drive home a brand new Lexus NX30 or walk away with $42,500 in cash. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Mike Lawton. He is the Senior Economic Analyst for the Nevada Gaming Control Board. Please come back soon. One last question here.
Yes, sir.
Lake Tahoe. Seems like Lake Tahoe has been rediscovered by major gaming corporations and is on the way back. I mean, it used to be a huge place, and I've never understood why everybody talked about Native American gaming in California, and yet nobody had Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. Lake Tahoe is very close to my heart. I grew up there, live not too far from that area in Gardnerville, Minden. Yeah, I'm super excited for, the announcement of the Fertitta going in there and developing the Hard Rock there. The capacity there, there's not a lot. Access is challenging. There's not an airport. As we know, this winter, getting there can be a challenge. They're not at all-time records. The South Shore, Lake Tahoe, is not at all-time records. Native American gaming definitely has impacted that market, but there's obviously room for growth, and we're excited to see what happens up there. It's a beautiful place. People visit there. People recreate there. But I think, there's room for gaming revenue to definitely grow in that market.
All right, and that's where we have to leave it for today. Please come back soon. It's always fun, man.
Yeah, it is.
Appreciate you being here, and we'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerauer, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com. Thanks to the Bank Saloon in Carson City and the Builders Alliance for their help with our coverage of the 2023 legislative session. We'll see you on the next broadcast.